Can you imagine a world without men? In a 2009 article on The Guardian, in response to a new scientific theory that had just been released, author Tanya Gold asked the question, does the world need men anymore? Well, this theory was followed by a lot of other similar articles asking the same question. And in more recent years, hashtags like Kill All Men and All Men in Cages have trended on Twitter. In fact, go do a Google search for Why Are Men Idiots? And you'll find articles by Time Magazine, NPR, Science Daily, and others talking about actual studies that have been done to prove the theory that, as the LA Times headline put it, proved at last, men really are idiots. Well, the truth is, since the late 60s, there has been an all-out war against men in our country. Since that time, you'd be hard-pressed to find a portrayal of a man in most forms of media that doesn't make him out to be an idiotic, misogynistic loser who sits on the couch drinking beer all day long. But what if the problem isn't that men are idiots? I mean, the truth is, we're all idiots at times, right? But what if, at least in part, the reason that men appear to be idiots is because they've been taught and trained from every angle for their entire lives that being an idiot is the only option for being a man? Well, has this more than a half a century war on men been effective? Let's look at some statistics to find out. By the 8th grade in the United States, only 20% of boys, 20% are proficient in writing, and only 24% are proficient in reading in the 8th grade, compared to 41% of girls and 34% of girls in reading. Nationally, boys account for 70% of all D's and F's given out at schools. Why are boys having a more difficult time in school than girls? It could be that only 1 in 9 elementary-age teachers are men, and that has an effect on these boys with no male role model to look up to. But it's also probably because fatherlessness in America has skyrocketed since the 1960s among families of all ethnicities. Today, 24.7 million children live absent their biological father. That's 33% of children in America today. Even in homes that have a father, fathers today only spend 30 minutes a week in face-to-face conversations with their boys, which isn't all that much compared to the 44 hours per week the average boy spends watching TV and playing video games and using smart devices. That's a ratio of 88 to 1. In fact, by the time the average boy in America is 21, he has spent 10,000 hours playing video games, an average of 5 to 15 hours per day. Are dads really that important? Well, a father's parenting style is different from a mother's. Dads are prone to love their children more dangerously and play rougher, and are more likely to encourage risk-taking in their kids. Dads tend to stress rules and justice and fairness and duty, teaching objectivity and consequences for actions and choices made by their children. Dads also encourage competition, engendering independence, where mothers will promote equity, creating a sense of security. Both roles of mother and father are crucially important to raising a well-balanced child. When they're put together, this creates a balanced, healthy, well-rounded approach to life for the children. The problem is, this kind of growing up environment is not only statistically less likely today, it's actually been under attack for generations. Well, the results of this war on men are overwhelming. 71% of all homeless are men. From 1999 to 2019, the percentage of 16 to 24-year-old men working in the workforce fell by 17%. That's millions fewer men working. Among the 25 most cited school shooters since Columbine, 75% of them were raised in broken homes. And 97% of prison inmates are men. Nearly every major crisis facing our country today can be traced back to the diminishing role men have taken in the last 50 years. So if you want to try to imagine a world without men, all you have to do is look around you. Well, it's time for us to do something about it. We need men who will band together to fight against the tides of culture to become a better league of men. Men who will live life not by desire and appetite for pleasure alone, but by virtue. Men who will not only seek to better themselves, but commit to bettering other men and equipping the next generation of men as they rise up. We hope you'll join us as we start working to put the virtue back into manhood. We need men who will defy the stereotype that has been created by the war against men, men who will resist the urge to see themselves through the lenses of culture and be the kind of man they'll remember when we're gone.